Welcome back. We are in the shop. Well, I guess technically we're in the studio, but it's a little bit easier to do our recordings here. And hey, we've got a really good one planned out for you today. We're talking crankbaits. This time of the year, mid-July, August, even into September, we kind of consider the dog days, right? Like fishing gets pretty hard. The fish move everywhere. Weed beds are all up over the lake. And I get a lot of people that come in and they're like, hey, I'm taking... kids are out of school, right? And stuff like that. So I'm taking my nephew, I'm taking my neighbor's kid, I'm taking my own kid, whatever the situation is, but we don't have a lot of time to get out. So what's the best way to catch fish? The answer is pretty easy. The technique is pretty easy. And it's a really effective way to catch fish, and that's crankbaits. So in this episode here, we're going to talk a little bit about crankbaits, what to run, when to run, how to run them, and we'll focus more so on the summer, but I do want to touch on what some of these crankbaits are used for, because we carry a lot of different crankbaits in the store. So let's dive in. We'll talk about what crankbaits to use, when to use them, how to run them, what kind of line we're using, the apps we're using to figure out their dive curves, and all that fun stuff. But instead of previewing the episode, let's just dive into it. So the first thing that I really want to talk about is the line that we're using. The line can be very important that I don't think a lot of people realize, depending how you're judging your dive curves. So for me, I use the app, the Precision Trolling app. It's a really cool app. We're actually going to dive into it here in just a second. But let's talk about the line. The line I use is the Trilene XT. It's the Trilene Extra Tough 10 pound. That is what a majority of the lines that are on there. I know they have some braided line on there as well. But this is the line that I run. Obviously, we carry it in the store. But this is what the app runs off of right here. Berkley Trilene XT. Now, let's talk about the app a little bit before we get into these baits. The Precision Trolling app is a super cool app that you can use to basically find the dive curve of almost any lure that's on the market. The team at Fishing 411, the Roman Axe, Mark and Jake, have designed this app where you can literally scroll through the app, find what bait you want to use, and if you want to fish 14 foot of water, then you can click on that bait, scroll it down to 14 foot of water, and boom, it tells you how deep to dive. It's got weights, it's got baits, it's got tadpoles and snap weights, and all sorts of dipsy divers are on there as well. So if you are a troller, if you're going to get into trolling, I almost recommend that you have to have the app. You can buy a one-time membership, or you can pay per lure. But I have people that come in and they want to get out trolling, and they say, well, what's the best way to catch them? Or what's the best way to find their dive curve, I should say. That's with the Precision Trolling app. So if you don't have the app or you haven't checked it out, check it out. We put a little sample right there in the video so you could see as well, but it's definitely something that you want to look into. Now, let's dive into why we're here. Crankbaits. You walk into a store, whether it's Hook One or whether it's Frank's up in Linwood or Cabela's Bass Pro or a Shields or wherever you walk into. You could walk into any store, and most likely around here or anywhere in the Great Lakes, you're going to find a ton of trolling baits. You're going to find big trolling baits, and you're going to find small trolling baits. And you're going to think to yourself, wow, these are a lot of colors. How do I know where to start? What baits do I want to use? Yada, yada, yada. This video here is going to be your shortcut. Typically, guys, a lot of the bigger baits that we use are baits that we're using early in the spring, late in the fall. And when I say early in the spring, I'm talking ice out. So sometimes it's January, February. Sometimes it's more March, April. But those bigger baits really, really shine early in the spring and then late in the fall. End of October, November, even into December. Lake Erie, Lake St Clair, Saginaw Bay, all that fun stuff. Now, some of these big baits that we're talking about, well, there's a few options for you. There's the new Rapala Gold Miner. This has been a really good bait. Just came out towards the end of last year. So there's still not a ton of information on these as far as like reports and stuff like that, but the guys that are using them are crushing them. Notice it's got a really big bill, really big body profile. So these are what we would consider a big bait. So you've got the Rapala Gold Miner. Another really good bait is the Bill Lewis Precise Walleye Crank. This bait specifically shines early in the spring, late in the fall. Now, it does have a little brother that we're going to talk about that is a slayer all year round. But this is another one of those big-bodied, early season baits built for pulling big bites. You know what I mean? If you're going for big walleyes. Another one is probably the most popular one that you guys see out here, the Bandit. This one here is the Chrome Seasick Frog by JT Custom Tackle. Super cool pattern. But the Bandit is the one exception, I would say. Oh, look at that treble hook. That ain't good. The Bandit is the one exception I'd say you could run a majority of the year. It doesn't just have to be early in the spring, late in the fall. But the Bandit is another bait. Awesome bait. I think we've got over 73 different custom colors here in the store. But the Bandit is an awesome bait that you can run all year round. But again, really, really good in the early spring, late in the fall. It's got a good rattle to it. And then another one of those big baits that we like to run is the Deep Husky Jerk. Also a Rapala bait. This one here is a Bad Dude. This is the Husky Jerk 12. They also make a Husky Jerk 14. Really big bill on it. Dives super deep. And it also dives deep quick, so you don't have to have a ton of line out for it. But the Husky Jerk is another underrated slayer. Probably one of my favorite on Lake St Clair. It seems like every year more and more make their way into my tackle box as I continue to learn out there and stuff. Obviously, we use a ton of Bandits. I'm really looking forward to getting some of these Husky Jerks out. The Bill Lewis PWC does have its days where it does really well. But notice with all these baits, guys, just how big the profile is on them. They're thicker, they're wider, bigger bills. So that's going to be kind of your early spring, late fall type deal. Another one that's really good that's underrated in the early spring and late fall is the Flicker Minnow 11. Now, the Flicker Minnow 11 is kind of like a Bandit in the sense where you can really use this thing all year round. We were using it in mid-May, pre-fishing for the Madness tournament. I would have no problems bringing it out and trying it right now in mid-July, and I would almost guarantee you it's catching fish. This one's here, one of our shop exclusives. This is the real deal, also painted by JT Custom Tackle. But a really good bait. And the Flicker Minnow 11s, I'll tell you what, the Flicker Minnows are really becoming one of my favorite baits because it's got a couple little brothers. We don't carry the 7, but this is the 9. So this here's the Flicker Minnow 9, and I'll show you just for a comparison the difference. Okay, so you can see the 9's a little bit smaller, a little bit thinner in profile, definitely quite a bit shorter. Similar style build. The 9s, you would be surprised at how deep they dive fast. The Flicker Minnow 9, guys, is a must-have on Lake St Clair in the summer. So as the temperatures get warmer, we start to downsize our crankbaits. We start running crankbaits that can handle a little bit faster speeds. We speed up quite a bit more in the summer. So the Flicker Minnow 9 is a must-have. This one here, obviously, another JT Custom. This one here, Sneaky Pete. This one was one of our show colors that the painter there wanted to name after me, so I appreciate that, the Sneaky Pete. But these Flicker Minnow 9s are a very good bait. Stay in the Flicker family. Guys, if you're trolling Lake St Clair in the summer, you must have a Flicker Shad 7. The Flicker Shad 7s are an incredible bait. A lot of times in Lake St Clair, especially if you're staying on the American waters, you're going to be trolling in that 12 to 14 foot of water. The weeds are going to be up probably 3 to 4 feet. So you're really only trolling in 10 feet of water. You don't have to cover a lot of the water column. You know, if you're 6 to 8 to 10 feet down, you're going to be in that strike zone. The Flicker Shad 7 is an absolute slayer. Catches everything that swims out there, whether it's walleye, pike, smallmouth, muskie. I've seen largemouth caught on it, but you name it, they typically will bite this bait here. So if you're looking to just go out and have a fun day with the family and you're looking to just throw some planer boards out and fish or whatever, or get the kids out and bend some rods, I highly suggest pulling a Flicker Shad 7 right over the top of the weeds. Really good bait, really good profile to it. And it's just been a producer. The last one that I've got on this table is probably the newest one to the market, minus the Gold Miner. Like I said, the Rapala Gold Miner came out late in the year last year. This one's been out just a little bit longer, but it's the Bill Lewis PWC Light. It's the Precise Walleye Crank's little brother. And this guy here, I'll show you again a little size comparison. This guy here is an all-time slayer. The PWC Light has been super effective early in the spring. We were actually fishing, the Romanex designed this one as well, the guys from 411. And we were actually fishing out on Lake Erie next to him when this guy right here caught him a 10-pounder. So it's one of these unique baits that you can run in cold water. You can run it slow, because when you're in cold water, you're typically running a lot slower, that 0.8 to 1. You can run this bait slow. It's very effective. It catches the eyes of big fish. But you can also run this bait in the summer fast. Like we've ran it up to 2.4. I'm sure you can run it faster than that. It's got a really good action to it. They have really good colors on them. But this PWC Light is becoming one of my favorite baits. More and more of them are making their way into my tackle box. But it's been really good. So now as we talk crankbaits, guys, you notice I talk speeds. Early in the spring, late in the fall, those water temps are cold. You're going to want to target them slow. That's why these big body baits work so good. They've got a better roll to them. They've got a really good knocking sound. For example, they make a lot better noise when you're rolling them slow, and they're just built to move slow. These big baits, they don't look good going fast. But then as you get into warmer water temps, as that temp starts creeping up into the 50s, into the 60s, and now like in the summer, we're into the 70s, that's where these small baits really shine. You can run them really fast. You can run them 2.5 miles an hour without losing their wobble or without, spinning out is what I basically call it. But, sometimes these baits will spin out of control. You don't want that. So you can run these smaller baits a lot faster. They've got a lot tighter of a wobble to them. And they really, really do shine. So if you guys are heading out, know what time of the year you're heading out, know what you really want to do with those baits, but especially this time of year, because this video is obviously releasing to you guys in July. Focus on these smaller baits, these multi-species baits here, the Flicker Minnow 9, hopefully I don't hook myself here, the Flicker Minnow 9, the Bill Lewis bait, and the Flicker Shad 7 are 3 baits that are really going to shine for you guys in the summer, especially here on Lake St Clair, Saginaw Bay, Lake Erie, Green Bay, if we got any friends watching from the other side of Lake Michigan. These smaller baits are really going to shine. They've still got big bills, so they're going to get down deep quick. You don't have to have a ton of line out. If you want to know the exact dive curve, guys, head over to the Precision Walleye Trolling app. You can get it on your iPhone or Android. They are a must-have if you're going to be a troller. But hey, if you want to get bit and you want to put fish in the live well, or at least just watch some boards drop back and catch some fish for the kids, head out to Lake St Clair, find that 14 to 16 foot of water, run these baits right over the weed beds, and guys, I promise you, you will have a great time. If you have any questions, any concerns, you know where to find us. We're right here, Hook One Bait and Tackle. You can find us on Instagram, you can find us on Facebook. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button below. Let your friends know we've got some cool stuff coming out. We're hoping the next video that we see you guys is going to be on the water. But, hey, we'll see what happens. Until next time, guys, adios.